Anonymous Watch Guy here with a full review video. Quick wrist check. We're on the Watch Dives Tuna Homage today. Really cool watch. Today I have a watch that I unboxed on the channel a few weeks ago from Imperial Watch Company. This is the Royalguard 200. One of my favorite micro brand releases of the year so far. Definitely a big fan of this one. This particular version, the tropical bezel, is sold out. If you do still want one of these, you can still pick up one of the green or the black bezel. These are limited. There's only a few of those left, so I would recommend if you're interested in this watch at the time of filming this review, there are still some available. And I think this is a really cool watch. Definitely has a really awesome vintage kind of vibe to it. And it has been one of my favorite pickups from the micro brand world so far this year. Let's review the measurements on the watch. Again, this is a 38 millimeter watch. You do have 47 millimeters lug tip to lug tip. You've got a 20 millimeter lug opening. You do have a screw down crown that's 7.5 millimeters there at the 3 o'clock position. Gives you 200 meters water resistance. It is 14 millimeters thick. You do have that vintage style domed sapphire crystal there. That gives you a nice shot of that beautiful dial. It does, as you can see, the blue tint there. It does have some nice anti-reflective treatment on that sapphire crystal. This is running the Seiko NH35 movement. Of course, the Seiko NH35 gives you hacking, hand winding, 41 hours power reserve. Being this is a no-date watch with a NH35 in it, you will have a ghost date position on this one. Not a huge deal, but something to keep in mind. If you don't want the ghost date, get a version that comes with a date complication. This does have kind of a faux Tina style loom. It does have solid loom. It does have a green glow. I don't know if it's C3 or not, but it does have a nice green glow to it. But I definitely like the overall look of this one. I think those gilt hands and second hand is a nice look. You've got your Imperial Watch Company logo printed on at an angle up there beneath the 12 o'clock position. I like the way they did that. I think it looks cool. Get your Royalguard 200, your model down there above the 6 o'clock position. And that is the only text on the dial. I like that. Again, I like the no date. I also think it's cool that lollipop on the end of the seconds hand as it sweeps around there will cover perfectly the hour markers there, and then that arrow at the end of the minute hand also does the same for the big triangles there at your 12, 3, 6, and 9 position. Really cool looking watch. Again, definitely has that vintage vibe and vintage look. You've got some vintage style, vintage dimensions as well to go along with that. Definitely like that domed sapphire crystal. Really nice looking crystal on there. This is a aluminum bezel insert on this one. It is kind of a faded color. It is meant to look that way to give it, again, kind of that vintage vibe. You do have some nice coin edging on the bezel. It is a 120 click unidirectional bezel. Fairly audible bezel. The bezel does feel, there's not any play, but the bezel does feel a little springy. I don't know if you handle a lot of bezels, it feels kind of spring-loaded. So if whatever your bezel action preference is, it's a nice bezel action. I'm not saying it's bad by any means, but it does have that little bit of a springy feel to it. But a cool-looking watch, nicely finished too for the price point. Full retail on these is $500 US. On the remaining units, you can still get a discount. I believe they're $61 off. So you can still pick one of these up for about $439 USD, which I think is a very good price point. You do have some nice brushing on the sides of the case. You do get drilled lugs for easy strap changes. Again, oversized signed crown, easy to operate. Got a bit of a high polished bevel there to some more brushing on top of the lugs. Again, nicely finished watch. Really nice looking from the side profile. You've got your bracelet with a brushed center and high polished outer link. High polished into the links as well. The bracelet on this watch is pretty good. Again, considering the price point, it is sized with split pins. Easy to size if you have a sizing block. If you don't know what a sizing block is, that is a sizing block. The clasp is signed with the Imperial Watch Company logo. It is a fold-over double pusher. It is milled. And then again, in the back of the watch here, you just have a screwed-in case back with the Imperial Watch Company branding, radially brushed. Nothing fancy with the case back there. These are limited. The watch itself is not numbered, but they are a limited edition. But a nice looking watch. Love the vintage vibe. I think this is a really big hit for Imperial Watch Company as a first release. Of course, they had their original kind of light blue version that came out a little bit of time ago. I know it was a Kickstarter watch, I believe. And then they came out with these limited edition versions of the watch with the different color bezel inserts. And most of them sold out really quickly. Like I said, there are still a few available. If you're interested in this watch at the time of filming this review, definitely recommend going over to the Imperial Watch Company website and picking one up. But a really solid first offering. Again, looking forward to what they do in the future. Nicely finished watch. Really nice looking watch. Looks great on wrist. Let's take a look at the Loom on the watch, and then we'll see what it looks like on my 7.5-inch wrist. Here's the Loom on the watch. You can see a nice green glow. You got a really strong application of Loom on this watch. All your indices glow nicely. Your pip up there at the 12 o'clock position glows nicely. Handset glows strong. Really good job on the Loom on this one. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. You can see it works very well. Solid wrist presence for a smaller watch. I think it looks really good on wrist. If you have a smaller wrist, this watch would work well for you. Again, being 38 by 47. But it looks really good on wrist. Love the colors. That black dial with the gilt and the tropical bezel insert. Really good looking watch. The Royalguard 200 by Imperial Watch Company. If you liked the video, give me a like. Maybe subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.